Hi guys, and thank you so much for watching. Please accept my apologies for the echo you're going to hear in this video. I fought for my life to remove it and nothing worked. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this love story.
Good afternoon,
Bye.
and thank you for watching Once and Often. I'm Jasmine. Joining me today is Mr. and Mrs. Jordan and Jasmine. This is not a topic of adoption and foster care, guys, so if that's what you're here for, I do apologize. This is a topic of these two who are on Instagram, and they have an amazing podcast. They went from friends to fiance. So when I saw this story, I was like, wait, what? How? And what are we missing here? Because seriously, I mean, I have platonic friends. My husband and I were even longtime friends, obviously not platonic because we were kissing and humping. So, I needed to know how y'all got from being friends to fiance. So, from what I saw on the Tim Hall show, I want to share that. And where I'm wrong, y'all just jump in with okay, and correct me. Okay. So, y'all longtime friends.
Yep.
Never dated, no courtship of any kind.
Correct.
No intimacy, no hug. The closest thing to intimacy was holding hands during prayer.
Correct.
And then for some special occasion, you present to her with a nice portrait as a gift.
Yeah.
And she's showing this to the family like, oh my God, look what the homie got me. Check it out. And she turns around and the homie is on one knee like, will you marry me?
Well, there's more detail to it.
Okay, that's what I need, because I was like, how? What just happened? So let's get into it. How did it happen?
Originally, we met 2 days in a row, so it was on a Saturday and a Sunday. So Saturday we met at a business convention, and then she were introduced to us by one of our colleagues so she knew a mutual person, and she was just introduced like, hey, what's up? Just like anybody else. The very next day was her first day at Elevation Church. And that's the church that I went to. And that was the campus that I was at. And she seen me. She was like, hey, didn't we just see each other yesterday? Didn't we just meet yesterday? We was like, oh, word, yeah, we did. And then so we both had the pastor's book in our hands. So we're like, yo, let's exchange information so we can go over the book together. Like, all right, cool. So we never did. Months later, I was talking on the phone with my friend about a relationship that I was out of for a while now. And I was like, it's just so still weird being alone. It's like I don't want another person. I don't want to be in a relationship because I know that God wants all my attention. However, it's just so weird not having somebody when you're used to having somebody all the time. He was like, man, just pray about it. And I was young in my faith, and I was like, I don't want God to think that I asking him for a girl, because I'm not. I know that he wants all my attention. He's like, bro, God's God. He's going to know what you mean.
Right.
So I prayed, and while I was driving home, it was like I had a question in my head of emptiness, and something just told me to text Jazz and ask her the question. So I was like, hey, what's up? She's like, hey, how are you? Great. Got the pleasantries out the way, and I was like, can I ask you a question? She was like, yeah. And the question I asked was, do you ever feel empty? Her response was yes and no. So then I knew it was really God that told me to reach out to her, because that's exactly how I felt. Anybody could have said yes, anybody could have said no. But it was yes for me because I was used to being in a relationship, but it was no for me because I was confident in my relationship with God, and I knew that He wanted all my attention. And I wasn't seeking being in another relationship. So we ended up getting on the phone. She encouraged me. It felt like Jesus was just slapping me in the face. I always tell people that. So much encouragement. And I invited her to join our e-group, which is a small group at church of young adults at the church at Elevation. Then we were going out to serve the homeless for Thanksgiving. We invited her. She said yeah. She became a part of the friend group and the small group, and we became friends from there. So that's how we became friends.
And now I don't want us to miss the fact that you guys have been married, 7 years now?
Yes.
So it works. So for those of you, so for those of you who like, man, we homies, I don't want to mess up the friendship. If you know God's voice, it works, because this is a real thing for you guys, and you're happily in love. You're teaching other people how to do it, and you said dating is toxic. So explain that. Hold on, I need a sip of coffee. Explain how you would say dating is toxic, because everyone doesn't have that friendship that you guys started with, and they kind of feel the same thing you likely felt. How Why is dating toxic?
For sure. So I'll say this and then I'll pass it on to you. Is a lot of people don't have that friendship part, right? But from that's why when God says that we're not supposed to be alone, it's not just about being in companionship, right? It's about being in community too. So oftentimes we don't seek out healthy community. But how it's really ordered is you seek out healthy community because that's what you need as an individual. Healthy community where people can help you grow and hold you accountable, right? So the most common place is a healthy church. You know, that's preferable, a healthy church. And yes, you'll have to church shop. And I get it. Some people might be church hurt, but nobody's more church hurt than Jesus. So it's okay. You know, you can just keep
Agreed.
shopping in different churches.
Yeah.
But from healthy community comes healthy friendship. Out of healthy friendship comes a healthy spouse. So maybe you don't have the healthy friendships because you haven't seeked out the healthy community, but it's available to you. So when we're talking about toxic dating being toxic, you want to speak to that?
Yeah. So before me meeting him, I had gotten out of a relationship where I realized that I didn't choose well for myself. And I remember telling God, I said, okay, God, like, I'm done. I'm like, I see what I can do for me, and it's not a whole lot. So you're going to have to send the next one. And I just stopped dating because every woman knows what I'm talking about. You have that certain level of crazy, and you didn't want to meet her, right?
That's a fact.
We
Yep.
know. I know.
Oh, that's a fact.
Right. And so
From Jasmine to Jasmine, I do feel you. Okay.
Like because you can want something so bad, like you can manipulate it for personal gain, which is why we say dating is toxic, because you will put yourself in harm's way just to get something that you want, not realizing the extent of potential harm that you're making yourself susceptible to. So
you said in one of your Instagram videos that you were going through a rough period. You were kind of hurt when you realized that your ex was moving on and marrying someone else. But Jordan here was here with you like, he's supposed to move on. You're my wife. Pull yourself together. Let's, It's me and you walking down that aisle. So in that moment.
We were still friends during that time.
No, I know. But he knew something. There was something brewing in his spirit. Okay. There was something brewing in his spirit. And, but he helped you get through that, right?
Yeah.
This is why y'all's story is so bomb, because in all this time, Jasmine, you're saying we're friends, he's just being supportive and, just trying to help me get through this. Jordan, you probably on the other hand, like, yeah, we're gonna hurry up and get over him. What kept you from telling her, Jasmine, God is showing me that you're my wife?
Well, honestly, I didn't have that state of mind either. So the reason why we had the state of mind of friendship, so she had hers aside from me before she met me, and I had mine aside from her before I met her. So one thing that God was showing me through my singleness was that I shouldn't be having sex, because when you have sex, it can manipulate your emotions and make you feel like you care about a person to a level 10 when you really only know them at a level 5, or a level 4. So when you're operating on a level that you're not really on, that's dysfunction. So you're trying to function on a level that you're not really on, as dysfunction. So that's where it started. Then what God showed me was that if I say wait until after marriage for that level of intimacy, and the greatest difference between a relationship and a friendship is the type of intimacy that you engage in, then that must mean that I can find my soulmate through a friendship if I'm supposed to wait until after marriage for that intimacy. So that's the route that I took, and walked out prior to meeting her. So when I met her and we started walking it out, our other friends was walking that out as well. So we were friends in the car. We were friends on our way to church when she got that news about her ex getting married. And I remember us in church, and she was just sitting there, like just sitting there. And we always are standing up, worshiping God, have our hands up as friends. Like that's what we did as a group. So when she was sitting there, I'm like, oh nah, like you're not defeated. Like that has nothing to do with you. Stand up. So I put her to stand up. Now she's standing up. And then I lift her hands in the air and then start worshiping, and then she start busting out in tears and all of that. But my only thing was like supporting from a place of us being friends, because I friend zone myself in everyone's life. So it wasn't even a thing of like, oh, I'm secretly into you and I'm secretly courting you. It was like, no, 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 no. I'm your friend and we've been doing ministry together and life together. And this is the trick of the enemy to make you believe that something that you know that you don't even want, that something that you know that wasn't even healthy for you, what had anything that has to do with that has something to do with you. And that's nothing but a lie. You know, so I just wasn't gonna see my friend go down like that.
This is, you see what I'm saying? See, Jasmine, your husband got it going on, girl. He got it going on. That is so dope. And somebody has got to get, I hope y'all are listening, for y'all who are single and y'all been boyfriend and girlfriend for 12 and 13 and 15 years. And now y'all got all this stuff. Get it together, okay? Because this is a perfect example of what love looks like. And I mean, obviously being married for 7 years, we see that, because y'all are young. Are y'all even 30 yet? Y'all look like y'all like 3.5 years old.
30 and 32.
Y'all are babies.
So 30 and 32.
Stop playing with me. And the thing about it is, because we have 50-year-olds out here, oh no, if we get married, we're gonna mess up the relationship. What you mean y'all got 8 kids? How you gonna mess up the relationship when you already purchased the home, you already got 10 kids, you got a joint bank account, and now if you get married, you're gonna mess up the relationship? Y'all, let's get our lives together, please.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and get our lives together, because Jasmine and Jordan are here to show us exactly how it can be done. Now, let's go back for a second to the proposal. Jasmine, were you shocked that your friend was proposing to you?
So his mom spilled the beans, but God knew that I needed to hear it. So it was around, she was planning to go to Detroit for Christmas, and I FaceTimed him because I did something crazy to my hair, and I was like, yo, look at this mess. And she didn't know that I was on the phone, and she was talking about going to Detroit, and she was like, I would go on Christmas, but that's when you're proposing to Jazz. And like, my phone was down. Both of our phones was down, so I froze, and I was like, she ain't just say that. And I said, I'm gonna play it cool and act like I ain't hear that, but God knew that I needed to hear it. So I still didn't believe it though until it happened. But yeah.
It was like
oh my God.
Proposal.
Now, when mom said it, was she like, oh, did she give the Homer Simpson? Oh, was it like?
Yeah, she did. And then she was like, and then I muted Jazz, and then she was like, nah, I done told y'all to let me know when y'all be on the phone. You know how moms I done told y'all that was my fault. But yeah,
moms are gonna tell it. I mean, they can't control themselves. They're gonna find a way to tell it. So now 7 years, and y'all are still honeymooning.
Well, I really won't call it honeymooning. So the thing is that when I did propose to her, the ring wasn't yet going to be there, so I needed to have something else in the place of the ring, for her. So that's when I had got her the painting, and then the painting said, "The best thing I love about you is the Jesus in you." And so on Christmas, when her and her fam came over my family house, because I let her family know without her knowing. I was like, and I told her, I was like, yo, just invite your peoples over, at my grandma's house for Thanksgiving, since y'all not going back to New York. Just come over to my grandma's house and y'all family can have Christmas with ours. So she came over, and then we were all headed outside to take a picture. I was telling people we were going to take a group picture. And so when we got outside, I handed her the painting. And then as she was unripping it and showing the crowd, and turned around, I was down on one knee proposing to her.
Good? We Gucci. Yeah. All right, Thugger. Merry. Show everybody.
Oh, wow. You know I'm slow, Jazz. Hold it up.
Look at my whole family out here.
I had on selfie. Wait a minute. What I love best about you is the Jesus. Oh,
that is so nice.
Awesome. That is beautiful. I don't hear anything. Tell the dog to shut up. Oh,
You spoke the words of the city to help. Since I met you, I've become a better man. You are everything I didn't even know was perfect. You put me in ways that I couldn't understand. Now I realize
Jasmine, you obviously had those feelings that he had. It kind of made it an easy yes.
Knowing made it easy. So that, because had she not spilled the beans, I definitely would have had a different reaction. And then two, it was because God had already given me directive to stay because I had unfinished business. So I had my own plan. I was supposed to move to Chicago, and God kind of derailed that, but I didn't understand why I was staying where I was. So when he proposed, I automatically made the correlation that you're the unfinished business that God was talking about. And so it was kind of like a full circle moment for me, faith wise. So it wasn't necessarily about him, but it was more about me saying yes to God, and he was a part of that.
I love this story. I absolutely love this story because somebody has to get something out of this. In all seriousness, I mean, all this, like you said, dating is toxic. You know, it has to be one of those things where you know God's voice, your faith is strong, and you're ready for that step. And y'all are young, and y'all were ready in your 20s. Shout out to you, Jordan, because that is so bomb. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you.
I always tell people though, is like, me knowing that she was my wife only came by way of already knowing what God's voice sound like. So I was already serving. I was already like dedicating myself to learn Him more and to grow my relationship more. I was already, attending a healthy community at church. I was already sacrificing certain things of myself, of my own selfish desires, for the ones that really align me with God's desires and God's principles, right? So I was already in a place of hearing. So when he said that Jasmine was my wife, it wasn't this like, oh, now I feel this emotion towards her that I wanted. It was the same thing that he told me when he told me to serve, or when he told me to launch a nonprofit organization, or when he told me to change my perspective or my attitude about something, or I was in the flow of obeying that voice. So I was familiar with it, and my ear was perked to it for me to be able to hear when he said to propose to Jazz. And what made it easy is because we were already a part of that healthy community where we were all transparent. So I already had that respect for her. So it was really me proposing to her from a place of like, it wasn't about like, oh, I'm in love with you, oh, I'm super attracted to you. It was more about like, I respect you. I value the relationship that you have with God and your faith, how you carry yourself, the fact that you're chasing after God's own heart. I already respected her as a human outside of me possessing her. I already respected her. So I didn't propose from a place of his passion. It was more just purpose. We always viewed our marriage together as doing greater things together, more than it was like, oh, you're mine.
With hearing you speak, and you speak so intelligently, thank you for being one of those Black men that has a good mind, who knows God, who loves God, and knows God's voice. There's some grown women still out here waiting for a thug. Y'all still out here waiting for that man who got his pants off his tail to propose to you, when you got people, and there are more Jordans. I mean, there's only one Jordan. This Jordan is Jasmine's, but there are more Jordans, and y'all want the thug who can't pull his pants up. Stop playing with me.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
I mean, it's real, and I mean, we see on social media when you look at Sierra and Russell Wilson and people like, oh, he's squid. What about him? It makes him squid. What does that matter? You just got punched in the face by your boyfriend of 30 years and you think that's love.
Yeah.
Stop playing with me. I love y'all story. Okay. I'm gonna let y'all go. Guys, on Instagram, they are friends to fiance. On YouTube, they are friends to fiance. Are there any other socials y'all want to share?
TikTok, friend to fiance, friend, not no S. So
Friends to fiance.
number
Okay.
2, the word fiance. Yes, definitely YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. You'll be able to hear more in depth about our story. And we always say like our story is special, but it's not unique.
Yeah.
What God did with us, He wants to do with everyone. You know, and we say dating is toxic because there's a scripture that says, if your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off. It is better to live through life limping and disabled than to go to hell with 2 feet. Right. And that's an exaggeration of, if something causes you to stumble, causes you to fall short, you want to separate yourself from it. And what dating does, it increases the opportunity to fall short of the fulfilling and pure life that you're looking to live out, because you're operating out of this place of passion, and you can end up falling short as far as attaching your love to someone who was never meant for you to attach your love to, and you're able to know everything you need to know about a person through a friendship. And if y'all don't build a friendship, then why would you want to build something deeper than a friendship
Right.
when you haven't even gotten a friendship, So we always say it's not just about being able to look at each other in the eyes, but it's also about if you're looking in the same direction.
I love it.
And
I absolutely
that's all.
love it, because that's real. And to all of my homies, my homeboys out there, thank y'all for not proposing, because y'all already know how I give it up. I would have been like, no, y'all already know. But but in all seriousness,
Please don't. That's not the story. The story is that a spouse is a gift from God. Okay, it's not something that you find yourself. God will bless you with it through friendship. God's gonna bless you with friendship through community.
absolutely. I love it, y'all. Thank you so much. I'm going to make sure this video reaches everyone, because this is not a topic of adoption and foster care, like I've already stated, but one of love. And that's one thing we all want. We want it. If we can't get it from a person, we look for it in a pet, we look for it in a coworker or something like that, right? Y'all know good and well those fish don't even know y'all are there, but you're buying a goldfish because you want to feel love. That fish don't know you. But this is a story of love, and and I appreciate you for sharing this story with me. And I'm going to make sure I try to get it out to the masses, because everyone should hear this story. And I thank y'all so much for sharing this story with me.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you for having us. Everyone, thank y'all for tuning in.
Of course.
And
thank you.
remember that God will really, really help you find your forever through a friendship.
Yeah.
Much love, you guys.